I don't know who this Molly person is. I talk to myself a lot.
I was actually his imaginary friend that we've composited in.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I created her in CGI. It's hot.
It's pretty neat.
In a time before CGI. Welcome, everybody,
to another episode of Dead Air Halloween Edition. I'm one of your hosts, Molly Rowland.
And I am your host, Torin. We wanted to make it interesting, so we thought, why don't we do compare and contrast, like, original and remakes?
So, I chose the Halloween franchise.
I hate you because it's my favorite franchise.
I chose the original Halloween, the first one. To compare and contrast with the 2018 sequel, actually written by Danny McBride and David Gordon Green, the guys who did
like Pineapple Express
yeah,
and all that.
Eastbound and Down. Yeah.
Mwah.
So I think it's really funny they like took a stab at a horror movie.
And was hella successful with it. And I chose Texas Chainsaw Massacre, my second favorite franchise. I chose the original along with the 2003. Oh shit, 2003. Might as well just get straight to it.
Should we do a thumb war?
See, you're stronger than me, and you tower over my goddamn thumb. Come on. No!
1, 2, 3. We're watching Halloween.
Hello? All right, Annie. First I get your fangs chewing, now I get your fangs squealing. Annie, you all right?
I'd be a horrible friend. I would have hung out as soon as she started moaning.
So what I love about this scene is he just killed her boyfriend. And he's dressed up as a ghost with the boyfriend's glasses on. So to me, that's really fucked up because
But clever.
He's dressing as her boyfriend's ghost, which I think is hilarious and in the spirit of Halloween. It's almost jokey. You know?
It's almost satirical.
Which is, but I mean, that's why I love it because Michael Myers is like this so serious character all the time. I think this is a great death. I think it has a great sense of humor about it. But let's do it. Let's do messiness.
I only give it 2.5 because honestly, it's not really. It's a very clean. There's no blood. Honestly, there's no like big struggle. Like just a dead body.
Yeah. Like
she just got strangled to death, but I will give it 2.5 because it's on the phone, so there is a witness. I find that very interesting. He's like, who's gonna stop me? Like he's a G.
Yeah.
Like he a real slasher.
I would give it a 2 because I think, like you said, there's not really much of like a mess per se. She just kind of gets strangled with like a phone cord. I agree with you. I think it's interesting that he is so willing to kill her, like with a witness, like on the phone. And I think it's kind of, the situation is kind of messy because he's dressed as the fucking, I can't get over it. He's dressed as the ghost of her dead boyfriend, which is so screwed up. Dignity.
She has no dignity. She was like just going about her day, calling her friend on Halloween while her boyfriend's being weird and creepy behind her. Like, come on! Like, alright, if my man just went to Pound Town and then went down to get beer and won't even approach me and is acting all suspicious and shit, fuck no, I'm not turning my back on you. Like, you're being weird.
Well, she doesn't even notice him, I don't think.
Like, before even now, she's like, are you going to give me my beer or what? I'm going to give this for dignity 2 ghosts.
I'm also going to give it 2 ghosts. Mainly for the point he just made that if you call your friend and they hear you like moaning and choking and stuff and think that you're having sex, because that's
what your sex sounds like, apparently.
I mean, if you have that much sex that you're calling your friend and you're like choking to death and they think that you're just having sex and playing around, like,
I mean, good for you, but at the same time, honey.
Yeah.
All right, Annie. First I get your famous chewing, now I get your famous squealing.
Why do you call your friends in the first place? Why are your friends getting that phone call?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not calling you.
Anyways.
She didn't find it suspicious at all that he took a really long time just to grab a beer from the fridge. Because her boyfriend went down to the kitchen and was down there for a minute. Like, he's hanging down there from a knife.
What's really interesting about doing Halloween in Texas Chainsaw, there's a really great article by Robin Wood, which I bring up very often, where it talks about how Halloween upholds societal norms, right? Where the virgin, good girl survives.
Yeah.
And the slut, whatever, dies. And people who commit sins like drinking, drugs, sex, they die. Whereas Texas Chainsaw makes the nuclear family the site of horror, and the survivor at the end is a woman in a pantsuit.
Huh. And it's in the daytime.
Yeah. So I think that it's interesting to clock her for dignity in the first place when Halloween is actually kind of a backwards movie and like upholding the societal norms, where something like Texas Chainsaw is like much more progressive.
And was Texas before or after?
Before.
Wow.
Yeah, this is 1978 and Texas Chainsaw was 1974.
I'm glad you know the dates. I don't know shit about history. Environmental friendliness.
Just kills her with a phone cord.
Yeah, he kills her with a phone cord. Like, he strangles her to death.
I'd give it a 4 because he uses a phone instead of his own hands.
Also, I just want to give him the fact that he's strong, and I'm just like, ooh, Michael, pick me up, why don't you? Oh my God. Shock factor.
I think, so, if you've never seen this movie, and you have no idea what's going on, you're kind of sitting there going, it's Michael! What are you doing?
You dumb bimbo!
Put the phone down and run!
Hit him or something!
Call the police!
Shoot a flare gun!
Right now, we're just kind of like, you dumb bitch, right? I think we have to take that into account. So I'm going to say a 3.
I'm going to, okay, so that's why you say 3?
That's why I say 3, because I think Halloween is a timeless classic that everyone needs to watch because it did a lot for film history. I think John Carpenter kind of revolutionized the indie film.
It's funny too because this movie was mixed reviewed when it first came out. Not many people liked it as much.
I mean, they shot it in the summer and spray painted leaves black.
I love it.
And I mean, it was really low budget, really indie, and it just blew up. So you need to watch it, you need to appreciate it, you need to love it. I think this scene in particular has not aged well.
I guess I take away shock factor. I give it a 1 because before anything happens, that piano comes in. That music cue gives it all the fuck away. Like if it was more like quiet and it was just sound design, maybe I'd give it a higher number. But like back then, like what made the movie so scary was legit the music. People were not scared necessarily of Michael Myers. They were scared of the piano music. And they would cover their ears in the theater because they said it was too much for them.
Wow.
I'm like, wow, that's so cool. That makes you say like, hey, scores really have an important part in telling a story.
They do. I mean, also at this point in the movie, like you can kind of guess everyone's dying. Like,
Yeah. Everyone who enters this house dies.
I mean, Michael Myers is on a rampage, and we can kind of like guess that everybody's gonna die. But I mean. All right! That was the first Halloween!
Woo! Now let's speed up how many years into the future? Like, it was 2018, the new one?
2018!
So, like, that was 1978. So, oh my God, 30 years after?
Yep.
No, 30?
Yeah. 40.
Fuck me.
I think if nothing else, this movie was shot really well.
Really? I didn't like how it was shot.
Really?
Most of the time.
I like this scene. I love how it's shot.
I'm still gonna roll this motherfucker's brains out. Get away from the body. Stand back. I'm not gonna say it again. Step away from the suspect. Step away.
Why do you say that is so well shot? Because I don't quite like how this movie was shot.
I said I really like this scene here.
Okay.
I love this shot.
Tell me why. I want to know.
I love like the headlights and the way they light the scene, and obviously like And I like the way they use street lights to light stuff instead of moonlight. So that you still have this blue versus yellow color contrast.
Okay.
Which is throughout the movie. Contrasting colors, like creating tension, which is what this does in this scene.
It's funny because you see blue here, and I see orange. There's the blue in here, and this is white to me. Because it puts her in a completely different space than they're in.
Yeah.
Which okay, now looking at that, I can be like, I can appreciate that now.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I wish they shot it darker. I don't know why. Everything just feels really well lit, and I can see everything. And if I can see everything in the darkness, then it's not dark. And like, it makes me, I want to go back to like one of the shots in the originals. Like, I want Michael Myers to be playing in the dark. Like, you know how like Laurie, she's in the house, she's crying, and you just see Michael's like face appearing in those shadows over here, just waiting to stab her from behind. I wanted that sort of stuff. Like, I didn't feel like Michael Myers gets to like be a shape in the darkness that much. Like, he has always like legit a shape. I wanted it to be shapeless. Because I want to make him feel like he can teleport almost. Because you and I have even discussed, like, Michael Myers is just a force of nature.
Yeah, like he's interstitial and like that's what makes this like a horror movie. But also, like, you know, I like my ugly lighting. So like I think that this scene is kind of lit, kind of ugly with the orange street lights, which is like, especially when you contrast it with like green or blue, like I just think it's ugly.
Messiness.
Okay, so I think that this scene, I would give it like a 4 out of 5. And not necessarily because of like the gore, which there isn't too much, like you kind of see his neck bleeding and stuff, but because of the twist. This is the twist of the movie.
Yeah, it is a twist.
Yeah, so like the situation is pretty messy because you think the doctor is like on their side, and then he turns around and kills the cop, and you find out that the doctor is like in it for himself and is like really like too obsessed with Michael Myers. I'd give it like a 3.5 or like a 4. Scalpels.
Scalpels? Okay. I give it 3. I give it a 3 scalpel. For me, I didn't see the fact that they were just going to run him over. I mean, in my head, I was like, that makes the most sense. I would just run him over if I wanted to get him down. That was the thing that got to me. But the scalpel in the neck, just how like it was just drawing things out. I guess, yeah, it's not really messy because I don't see a lot of blood except for that one little part. But other than that, yeah, I'll give it a 3 because the situation's just kind of messy. It's just like, oh, this is kind of fucked up. And also, you're the girl in the back. You're in a cop car. You can't get out and do anything. You have to just sit there and watch this shit happen and be confused.
Yeah.
Pretty messy.
She's like locked in because of the locks on the back because they usually hold prisoners, you know? It's like scary.
Yeah. It's not a fun situation, y'all. But we've all been there. I mean, Mardi Gras, New Year's, 4th of July, birthday. What?
Dignity.
Dignity!
Dignity for the cop.
I'd give him a 5.
I would too.
Because he legit was about to fuck up Michael Myers and this stupid ass doctor comes around.
Yeah, and he like, this cop is like one of the original cops from the case, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's been like...
waiting for this moment.
Yeah, and like he's not trying to take like second chances or like back down, and like he fucking hit him with a car, you know? Like,
he did the smart move.
Yeah, like he is trying to like protect these people. Like he went down with dignity, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he got backstabbed. So I'd give this man 5 scalpels.
5 scalpels for sure.
Environmental friendliness. I don't think it's environmentally friendly.
No, I mean, well, first, you know, it's a scalpel.
Environmental friendliness, 1.5. Cause scalpels.
I would say a 1. I mean, you know, there's nothing really environmentally friendly about it.
And next is
Shock factor.
Ooh, shock factor. I want to give it a 2.5 scalpel. You know, some sort of medical. If there's a medical person involved, they're usually crazy. Especially when it comes to Michael Myers, because everyone's just obsessed over him for some reason. Doctors, psychiatrists, everyone's obsessed over Michael Myers. So seeing the fact that this man went and did this, I was like, okay, let's see where this is going. But it's like I've seen this before.
I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I think that like you said, it draws itself out a little bit, so you know something's coming a little bit, and you're like, okay, like, why is this doctor like, don't hit him, don't hurt him, don't blah 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 blah, like, just get rid of the motherfucker, like, he's killing people, like,
shit, run over his face if you could.
Yeah, so like, I think we know something's a little up with the doctor, but I think it's shocking to see the doctor kill somebody and be that bad of a guy. You know, because we kind of get the vibe he's obsessed with Michael Myers.
Michael has been my life's obsession. I've examined every single case file written on him.
And that something is up. But I don't think we get the hint that he's gonna kill anybody.
Yeah.
You know? So like to actually see somebody die for that is mildly shocking. So I would say like a 3.5.
I think it would make, you know what I think would make it more shocking, or at least more interesting, if you stayed in the car from the girl's perspective.
Oh,
and you didn't see all these different cuts. You just saw what she was seeing and not hearing anything.
But again, it's David Gordon Green and Danny McBride. You know, they're not horror
junkies like us.
Yeah, they're not.
They're making a good, clean sequel.
Yes.
A safe, good, clean sequel, in my opinion. All right. Hell yeah.
That was Halloween, folks.
That was Halloween, y'all.